back again with another video, and today I'm here with
Jorge.
What did you do and what did you play?
I came in first at our OTS Championship qualifier playing Pendulum Magicians.
Awesome, man. Do you have any shoutouts?
Shoutouts to my wife because she put us up with my card game addiction. Shout out to all of my friends at Enjoy Games and Comics for helping me out for deck testing and deck building. No, that's pretty much it.
Let's get into the list.
All right, so we're going to start off with right here. So we have, for the Magicians, 3 of us, we're going to do 3 Wisdom Eye.
Oh, we can turn it the other way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine like that. Yeah.
We can do 3 Wisdom Eye. It gets you any Magician that you need at any moment. I know people right now don't like playing this a lot because of pen call and it conflicts, but I feel like sometimes if you don't draw the pen call, you need to change up your scale. So this is really good in that regard. Another 3 of is going to be Oath Dragon Magician. With the new Master Rule, it's really good to add back the Pendulum Magicians from the extra deck back to your hand, especially Harmonizing Magician. It's also really good. It's a win. It's a level 6, so you can use it and Harmonizing to go into Baron, which is one of the more broken things. You can get a Baron under the 5th summon.
It's pretty good.
After that, not newly released, but out for a while, Triple Double Iris Magician. This card, you can't activate on the first turn, but it's just so good for maintaining your resources. It lets you add either the Star Pendulum Graph or the Time Pendulum Graph in order to just gain advantage. This isn't the Pendulums of 2018, 2019 where you put up 5 negates. This really is a control tempo style deck, so you definitely need this in order to get that. After that, we get the best of the Magicians, my personal favorite, 3 Harmonizing Magician. It's a level 4 tuner, probably one of the best tuners in the game. It gets you into either a rank 4, Synchro 8, Synchro 10, Blink 2. It's just really, really busted. The Pendulum Scale effect doesn't really come up, but this is really good. You just need to make sure that you use Magicians for the requirements for everything else. That's the only drawback from it, that and you can't Pendulum summon it from the extra deck, but this card is just so good. In terms of the one-ofs, we only played 1 purple and 1 celestial. I really wanted to bump these both up to 2, but I just couldn't find the space for it. Purple Poison is really good. It just helps you clear boards. Pendulums have this reputation that it can't go second, but with Purple Poison, it helps you. It gets you to attack over stuff with your Double Iris, your Jokers, any Dark Spellcaster, and it pops a card on the field. Celestial is also just really good. It's a Scarm effect if you control another Pendulum card, which is really, really good. It lets you add a Joker for the follow-up, a Chronograph, and Astrograph. And its Pendulum effect does come up every once in a while, where they pop something on your end and you can just bring it back. That's really cool. For the extenders / starters, we are also playing Triple Chronograph and 1 Time Gazer. I have a love-hate relationship with this card. I think it's really, really good in order to add, and it does give you the special summons off of the destruction of anything else. And the Time Gazer, it's not as much of a brick as you think. You do run it, but it is useful. It is a high scale. It is a level 3. It does come up with some of the synchros, so I can't complain too much about it. We played the 1 Astrograph Sorcerer, fresh off the ban list. Not very good at 1. I love the card. It's a personal favorite of mine, but it definitely needs to be multiples in order for it to consistently be seeing it. I didn't see it at all in the 3-5 rounds that we did, but it's still really good. I wouldn't play it without it. It's just really, really good. So that's the Magicians right here. In terms of the Performapals, we did play 3 Joker. You need to play this card at 3. It is your Stratos. Easier said than that. It's got a nice attack stat, so it does pair well with the Purple Poison. It can go up to 3k, which is really nice. And then we played only 2 Pendulum Sorcerers. And now, most people play 3 because they want the consistency. This card is searchable off of Joker, but it's also searchable off of Duelist Alliance. So really, you have about 6 ways to get into it, plus the hard drawing, and you can search it off the Celestial Event phase. So it's one of those you want to see it all the time, sometimes you don't. It does kind of conflict with Pendulum Call, but there's other ways to proc it. Those are all the Pendulum cards in our deck. In our main, we also play Double Tuning Magician. It's really, really good. it is a free special from hand or grave if you control 2 other Pendulum Magicians in scale. It does do the burn damage, so you have to keep that in mind when it comes to time. But it's really good. It can revive itself. You can abuse it multiple times. We also, because we want to win, so we play 1 Destiny Hero Celestial and 1 Dasher. Funny enough, I drew both of these game 3 in my round 3 against my opponent. But they're really, really good. At worst, if you draw one of them, you can Pendulum summon them. This is Celestial's a level 4, so you can use it for rank 4 plays, for example. This Dasher is a level 6, so this plus a Time Star and a Tuning does get you to Baron. So it does come up every once in a while. You can Pendulum summon this, so it's not as much of a break for as in other decks. But we had to play those, and then the 1 Scythe. I hate this card. I despise this card. I wish this card was not legal, but it's playable right now, so you got to play it. It buys you turns, and the thing is, Scythe doesn't even guarantee the win. There's a lot of good duelists out there who can play through it, and so, but it's there because it gives you that turn to generate resources and to just stun your opponent. So that's it for the monsters. After that, we're gonna play Triple Duelist Alliance. It's really, really good. I love this card. It searches pretty much anything you need, either the Star Pendulum Graph, Time Pendulum Graph, Pendulum Call. It searches you the Pendulum Sorcerer, and it searches you Double Iris. So this card, it's really good. It searches pretty much anything you need at that moment. Mostly I went into either Pendulum Call or Star, but I love it. Wouldn't change it out. Wouldn't change the ratios on that. Then we have 1 Star Pendulum Graph. This one protects your scales, so that way, or your scales, not your scales. It protects your Pendulum Magicians on the field, so they can't chalice it with spell cards or spell effects. So that's really nice. We also carry 3 Pendulum Call, which I know in the Pendulum group is very decisive. However, I think with cards like DPE, like Blackout, destruction effects are kind of key at the moment. And so you need to protect your scales. I know it's a -1 if you get ashed, and it's a -2 if you get ashed. But you need it. You need to generate the resources. You need as many cards in your hand as you do. And 3 just allows you to see it more. And it does offer that protection effect. And then for the last spells, 2 Fusion Destiny. I would play this at 3 if it was at 3. It's just really good. Because you hard draw it, you use it at the end of your combo. It's just really, really good. Not much else to see on that. So that's the spells. Oh, and 1 Called by the Grave. This is also really contentious. I know a lot of people don't like Called by the Grave in the main. However, this format, you're seeing people play triple Ashford or Ogre, multiple Veilers. And so cards like that do hurt your deck. You Ogre the Scales, that hurts a lot. You Ogre, you Ash the Pain Call. So you need this, and it also helps you get out of the Scythe Lock if need be, or DPE even. If you just DPE, you can use it to get that out of the grave, or the Celestial. The last card in the deck is 1 Time Pendulum Graph. I wish I could play this card at 2 or 3, but it's just a little too bricky. It's, to me, a better Blackout, because you could pop 2 and send 1, so you can get around cards like DPE, or anything that can't be targeted or destroyed. So it's really, really nice. I would play 2 or 3 of these, but right now, just 1 is fine. So that's the main deck.
How many in the main?
40. 40 exactly. I wanted to go more over, but I was talked out of it by a lot of people. So I just want to add more extenders, more gas, but they're like, no, stick to 40. And they were right. I'll give them credit for that one. For the Synchros, we're going to go to the extra deck first. For the Synchros, we do 1 TG Wonder Magician, 1 Borderlord Savage, 1 Baron de Fleur. Savage was a last minute add. It's just nice to, on the follow-up, you can Savage on their turn. So if you were to use your Baron effect, you can use Savage come out. And it's just a big beat stick. Pendulums suffer from the effect that actually a lot of their monsters are pretty small. They're in the teens to maybe the low 2000s in terms of attack. So having just a big beater sometimes really does help out a lot. Baron is just so good. It takes this deck to another level. It lets you pop the Double Iris to search for the time graph. It protects your Scythe. You can use Scythe multiple times using the Baron standby effect phase. And it's just so good. It helps you clear boards as well with its destruction effect. TG is one of those where it's like, I like this card and I hate this card. It's unfortunate that you can only use it with TG cards, but you summon it off the Hulk if you can't get into Baron or if you can't get into Anaconda for DP. The draw effect sometimes still pops up, and then it helps you dodge Chalice on the or Imperm for the Scythe, because you can just chain this. That way, it's off the field, which is really, really nice. And that's the other thing with the time graph. The time graph will help you get through the Scythe lock. If they droplets you, Imperm you, you can use it to get you out of that. For the XCs, just play 3. Abyss Dweller, Time Star, Babushka. Graveyard is really important in this format with Based and everything that's going around, so you need this. I didn't summon this as much as I want to. I always want to summon this, but you just gotta let it go sometimes. Babushka buys you turns in the same way that Scythe does. It just helps you take a turn or two just to generate resources. And the MVP of today is Time Star Magician. I would not have done so well without this card. It searches, it protects, it sends to the grave to help you manipulate it. So it's really nice. Anyone who plays this deck without this is not playing this deck right. But it's insane. I definitely would have not won without it today at all. And then the one fusion, obviously, Destiny Hero, Phoenix Enforcer. I was debating taking this out with the whole Destiny Hero package, but it wins games on its own sometimes. This card is just really, really busted. And it's just so good. It helps you out so much. For the links, we have 1 Dagda, we have 1 Predaplant Anaconda, we're going to have 2 Hulk. 2 Hulk is mandatory for this deck. I know some play just the 1, but you really do need 2. You need 1 during your turn and 1 for the follow-up, and if you do get interrupted, you can summon another 1. And then just use its special summon effect the next turn in order to help you pop the Scythe or just to get through anything. Dagda just triggers. It really helps, and you'll see in the side deck. It helps you get whatever you need, whether it be Scythe or something else. And Anaconda, card's busted, dude. This thing probably needs to get banned at some point. Or they really just need to print cards that don't say fusion in its name. But this card's really good. 1 Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden. It's just really good to link off either your Tuning Magician or any of your Pendulum Magicians to go to the extra deck. If you have a Star Pendulum graph going out. It also helps really well, so if you have a Hulk, you can go Tuning, link off the Tuning for the Artemis and bring back the Tuning. It helps you go into Link Force. So this is really, really nice as well. This is pretty much mandatory. For the last ones, only 1 Celine. I know a lot of people play 2. And I really did want to, but I had to cut the second Celine for the Savage. 1 Celine is fine. You really are going to go into Celine more turn 2 than you are turn 1. But Celine's really, really good as well. And then the last 2 is Appaloosa and Access Code Talker. This is just really good going first, unless you are like me and you play it and you tilt and you summon this in turn 3. Or Access Code Talker. It just helps you win so many games that you shouldn't win. It just helps you get through them. So no complaints there. I really wouldn't change much. Maybe I would add maybe a Ignister just for a spin. But other than that, I think the extra deck's pretty solid at the moment. And then for the side, just really quick, because I know we're running out of time. We'll go 2 Dark Ruler. 3 is not really necessary. You really need to search it 1. And Dark Ruler is not as great in this format. More people want to play Droplets, which is fine. It's really good. Just this deck cannot play Droplets. You need your whole hand, and so Droplets is just one of those cards that does not equate to that. We got Triple Cosmic Cyclone. It's really good for Scythe Lock. Anti-Spells resurging back into the format. People trying to use it to prevent, obviously, the Adventure package and getting Dark Ruler themselves. So Cosmic's mandatory. Plus, with the Scythe, it's really, really good. To that, then we have 2 Token Collector. Never saw this. I only saw it once, actually, against a Dino player, but didn't even use it. It's really good. At worst, if you hard draw it, you can Pendulum Summon it. It is a level 4, and they cannot Nibiru you if this is on the field. So it really helps out in that regard. I didn't see that interaction today, but I know it helps out a lot in testing. 2 Sphere Mode. I was debating between this and Nibiru, but ultimately I went with this. This is better to see as a 6 card. And because this deck doesn't really play hand traps, Nibiru isn't as great, because for Nibiru to be really good, you need 2 hand traps. You need Gamma, you need Imperm, Veiler. And so this just helps you wipe the board. It also gets rid of the DP if they don't shotgun it.
Did you summon it at all?
I did. I did summon it twice, actually, today. Summoned it against the Dinosaur player. And I know I summoned it one other time, and people aren't expecting it, so they're leaving 3 cards. And if you think about it, so they have the Token, the Griffith, the DPE, the Anaconda, or whatever else. And those are usually the end boards we're seeing nowadays, so this actually does clear all of that in one fell swoop. especially if they're not playing the Scythe Lock, it gets rid of it pretty easily. But I like it. I wish the side deck was at 16 so I can play 3 of this, but I think I'm going to keep this for now, right now, over Nibiru.
Gotcha.
And for the last 3 Droll. This card is just really good. Again, so with Pendulums, it can't play low-impact hand traps. Ash Blossom is one of those low-impact. It negates one thing, but your opponent can still combo off. Goes Ogre to a degree as well. So you need cards in Pendulum that will help you for the whole turn. And so that's what Droll does. It really does slow down other opponents. And it buys you a turn. And that's all you need is a turn with this deck. And last but not least, 3 Lancia. Obviously for Adventure, Eldritch, anything that comes up like that, Lancia is just really, really good. Also, you can search the Lancia, or not search, but set the Lancia with the Dagda. So if for some reason, let's say you're going up against a deck that doesn't care, like Flunder, you can use Dagda and use that Dagda to set the Lancia instead of Scythe. And so it helps you out in that regard too. So it's really important that you play this one. Obviously, people aren't playing PK anymore, but the Adventure package is still running rampant, so you need to make sure that they cannot banish. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the deck. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it performed. My only match that I lost, again, was because I drew Celestial and Dasher in the same hand, and I got double hand trap that turn. So it really wasn't much else to do. And but other than that, I love the deck. It's my personal favorite deck. I think the deck is really good. Once Beyond the Pendulum comes out in about a month or so, I think it's going to be amazing. But we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that's the deck.
For sure. Awesome, man. Hey, congrats on your win. Thank you for the deck profile. For everybody watching out there, make sure to go like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Peace.
Peace.